Hello, I'm going to be doing a full get ready with me using makeup that is either new to the market or new to me, but it's mostly new to me. I did have on some mascara earlier today and so just ignore this little black spot. That's just mascara I didn't quite wash off because apparently I'm a slob, which is fine. So to start off, I'm going to use primer. So for that, I'm going to use a combination of the Bobbi Brown Under Eye Cream and the MAC Studio Radiance. I'm gonna put on the eye cream first, and then that way as I'm putting on the face primer, I just kind of give the eye cream time to hydrate my under eyes. And I do apply a pretty generous amount just to make sure that the concealer will blend out neatly and not look super dry. And then if there's any left over on my finger, I'll put it between my eyebrows because I do have dry spots there. And now for the face primer. I was going to use the Dominique primer, but I've been using that back to back so much, I kind of just wanted to use something different today. So this is not as hydrating as the Dominique Cosmetics one, but it is very blurring, which is not very common for hydrating primers to be able to both blur and hydrate. So I would say that aside from the Dominique one, the MAC one is the next best I've found, but it still isn't anywhere near as hydrating as the Dominique Cosmetics one is. So the first thing is that I really want to talk about are going to be these LA Girl correcting concealers. Mine finally came in the mail and I got 4 because these are about $5 each, and I think there was some kind of promo where I was like buy 3 get 1 or something like that. So I was able to I was able to get a really good deal on these. Dude, you're gonna like knock over everything. So I've been trying to figure out which one of these is going to correct my under eyes, which involves trying to figure out what color my dark circles are, and I swear that they're just kind of like brownish, but sometimes I feel like I can see a little bit of the blueness coming through as well because my cheeks are a little bit more cool. But I swear I can sometimes see some veins coming through, which gives my dark circles also kind of a purpley feel. So I never quite know what to use. So I've been trying to use lavender, but I feel like that doesn't always work. So it's a whole thing. But the other color corrector I got is also from AMELI, and this one, as you can tell in contrast to the LA Girl one, is going to have a lot more white to it. So I think what I'm going to try in this specific video, because I've already been trying to fuss around with these, trying to figure out what works for me, and no luck so far. So I'm going to try using 2 different correctors. So I'm going to take the AMELI one, which is in Hydrangea. I wanted the lilac one because it was less white, but it was already sold out. So I got this one instead. So I think I'm going to put this one right in the front. I do like the brightening effect it has on my eyelid, so I'm gonna take it right on my eyelid. I don't know, I thought it was more opaque than it is, but it's acting really sheer right now. I don't know if that like makes my dark circles look even worse or what, like, I don't know, man, we'll figure it out. So then I'm gonna kind of want to try the yellow one where my veins are popping through. I wonder if the yellow might work better, I don't know. I don't really like these applicators, however I have heard of people just pulling them out and then it just becomes a tube, so I may try that. And I'll just use my finger. And I'm like trying to be super precise about where it goes, right? Like I want it to just be right where my veins are coming through. I'm also trying to work on trying to see if these work and just, you know, just messing around, seeing if those help at all. I mean, like it takes a while to figure out what works for you. I'm gonna use the Givenchy Prisme Libre Skincare and Glow Foundation. As usual, this is kind of one of my favorites. And then I'm just using a sponge from Shop Miss A. And I don't really feel like I need too much coverage today, so I'm really using my finger to spread out a thin layer. This also will help it not look distinctively the wrong shade for me because it's sheared out. And then just a very thin second layer where I think I need more coverage. Okay, so that's what everything's looking like right now, and I feel like my dark circles are, I don't know how good of a job I did color correcting them. Like I said, it's definitely gonna be a process. I'm gonna have to do tons of trial and error, so I do really like to make sure I take some time at the end of my day to play with makeup off camera, even if I didn't film that day. Hopefully I can get into the habit of doing that more this year. Definitely one of my resolutions. Yeah, so I'm gonna use concealer now, and I'm just using the JX Professional Concealer. I don't know, I didn't really do a super great job covering them this time. I feel like you can still see the groove, which is always my least favorite thing about my dark circles, is just that stupid groove. Okay, yeah, my concealer is not going on super good today. I guess I'm just not kind of having an off day today maybe. I am going down to Atlanta tomorrow for a concert and then I'm coming right back, so I'm like mildly stressed. Not to mention I am so busy that it's like, why did I buy those tickets? I don't know. I really wanted to go irregardless of how life is treating me, but I'm probably just mildly stressed right now and it's just making my makeup look kind of terrible, so we'll just move on from this. Nothing to see here. And I will, of course, keep playing with these. I was trying to make a beauty box order of the Romand Glasting Balms, which I will be making a dedicated video about as soon as I can, but in the meantime, one of the small things I threw, well, threw a lot of things into the order, but one of the things I threw in was the HOLIKA piece matching shadow in Gray Cat. First of all, it's cute, it's got cat in the name, but it does actually look like a really great contour tone, so I'm gonna try and use it as a contour. It is a very tiny pan for me to be sticking a contour brush into, but I really want to try it, and let's go in with it as a contour. Yeah, this definitely reminds me of like a contour shade from like Flower Nose or something. But yeah, I could, if I used this as my full face contour, I definitely would, of course, kind of burn through this really quickly. And then I'm gonna take a fluffy blending brush and I am going to try using this kind of on my nose bridge, just out of curiosity. I like never contour my nose because I can never make my nose look good, but I'll just try it today just for the kicks. Yeah, you see how I can never make it look natural, but whatever, who cares? It's all in good fun, right? And I feel like if I want to get better at contouring my nose, I have to practice. But yeah, I pretty much never contour my nose. I used to a lot, but I never could make it look good, so I kind of stopped. A little bit right there to make my lips look fuller. What do we think? See, I don't like nose contour also because from the side kind of just looks weird, but this is also from my beauty box order. I should just name this Korean beauty haul because like half the products I'm using are from Korean brands, but this is also from AMELI, which is a brand that I have been interested in. I just hadn't ever really had an excuse or a budget to buy them, but because I was getting the balms, I was like, you know what, I'll just add a little bit extra. I mean, it came out of my makeup budget. This actually I ordered back at the end of December, so it came out of my December makeup budget. It just took a little bit to come over here, but this is going to be the baked powder that went super viral in Korea last year. This is a pretty expensive product. It's like $35 on beautyboxkorea, which is expensive for a pressed powder. So I wasn't really able to get it until now. It does have two other shades, a white and a lilac, and if I like this natural beige color, I may get the other colors. So I'm gonna try it. I know I saw Pony use it and she really liked it, but I've seen a lot of people on Korea YouTube use this and really like it. And in the pan, I can definitely see a glow to it, but I don't really see individual sparkles in it. It just looks very glowy. And it's very firmly pressed, so very little is coming off onto my brush as I dig my brush in. So it also means I can apply an extremely thin layer, and that's going to be what the powder looks like. So it is, I feel like my under eyes are really dry looking right now, which could be because I stacked color corrector and concealer. It could be that it's the end of the day. It could be a whole multitude of reasons, but I do feel like this powder didn't really do my under eyes any favors, but it made the rest of my face look really nice. I will continue to use this. I did see that the Givenchy colors have been revealed and there's no lavender, instead there's like a blue, but I'll try anything. Okay, we'll put that to rest and I'm going to go ahead and just spritz my face with my setting spray. I really can only find this on like eBay at this point, this setting spray, but it's still floating around. Like, as long as people are still selling it, I'll keep buying it. Okay, I totally screwed up the shape of the back of my eyebrows, but with my hair being in the way, it was really hard for me to see what I was doing, so whatever, we'll just call it a day. Okay, so for the eyes, I used the rest of my Rouge Reward gift card when I got those Chromolux pigments, which still feel slightly bitter about, but I used the rest of my $100 gift card and then a little extra spare change to get myself the Major Dimensions 1 palette from Patrick Ta. I have the 2, which deserves way more than I ended up filming with it. So now I have both. I've wanted this one ever since it first came out, but I never had the chance until now, so I'm gonna use that today. I also kind of want to demo and feature this single shadow I got from HINCE that is also in this beautiful shade. I have been wanting these literally ever since they first came out in what I think they came out in like 2021 and I've been wanting them ever since then. But again, HINCE is kind of expensive, and especially with BeautyBoxKorea being one of the most expensive places to get Korean beauty from, but also one of the only places that really stocks everything I want. This was like a $23, $24 single, which is not a small amount of money. I know you can get HINCE on Olive Young now, but the stock is like super fluctuating, and since I was already placing an order with BeautyBoxKorea, I just ended up throwing this in. If I do really end up enjoying this formula, and if it's still in stock on Olive Young, maybe I'll get lucky and I'll have a coupon I can use. It's really hard to coupon track Olive Young. I got this in the shade Authentic, and I feel like the range of single shadows from HINCE has some really unique colors in them, colors I haven't really seen anywhere else. So if I enjoy this, I may consider adding to my collection. So I'm going to start off with Authentic, and I'm not going to use any eye primer today. I heard from the Minsko video that these kind of have a thick, almost creamy consistency to them, so I think they'll be really fun to play with. And I'm not using any primer today, mostly because this is going to get washed off. I initially thought I was going to use a cream base from the Patrick Ta palette, but I guess I'm not, and that's fine. So I'm just going to put this on. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Definitely screams Korean beauty for sure. This is totally a kind of shade I would see out of Korean beauty, especially for like the 2021-2022 era of Korean beauty, which was all about mute tones. And honestly, they're still trending as the thing to wear, just different variations on mute tones. It used to be mute milky pastels, now it was mute cool tones. They're just still really, really popular, so really cool. This is such a cool shade. Pretty. It kind of has brown, but it kind of has a hint of gray, and then it has a hint of purple. Very, very, very blendable, easy to use, and it kind of has like a mattifying blurring effect on my eyelid, which is very common with Korean color matte products, is they like not only are color products on your face, but they'll blur your face too. That is so, so pretty. I'm also gonna take that on the lower lash line, see if I can cover up my mascara smudge. And I'm not using the Ideal brush for this. I am using a rather fat brush, so we're just gonna have a blown out lower lash line today. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into Grey Cat, and I'm gonna use Grey Cat to blend out the shade Authentic, just so that it has something to blend into out here. Make sure it's extra super soft. I like how they both have H's on them. Like, what a coincidence, right? Okay, so that's gonna be the matte shadow laid down. I just am so in love with how that looks, so I definitely do think it merits being deepened up a little bit. Don't judge me, but I actually never ended up getting around to using this palette, but I just realized I think this shade from Smoke and Roses will be perfect, so I'm just gonna pop this on as the depth shade. If you guys want to see me use Smoke and Roses to create some looks, let me know. I can add it to my list of things to do. Maybe it'll help keep me motivated to not buy as much makeup, you know? I bought it and then I just literally got backburnered and then it just never happened. I don't know. I mean, I got it on sale, so at least I didn't pay full price for it, but still. I feel like it's just part of the growing pains of trying to be a beauty YouTuber, is that just finding that balance of making sure you actually use the junk you buy. The shimmers in Smoke and Roses look absolutely beautiful, but I said I was going to use shimmers in Patrick Ta, so that's what we're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna use this palette now, as I said I would. The shimmers are just so pretty. I know I heard some people talking about issues with hard pan and stuff like that, so I'll definitely see what happens to me. But first I'm going to take this shade here, and I'm gonna use this on the inner corner, and I'll see if I can use a brush with this. Otherwise I will use my finger. Brush is fine. Ooh, it's so sparkly. I may have put on a little too much. I don't know if I wanted my inner eye corner to be that bright. And I'm just gonna use my right hand today because I'm holding the palette with my left hand. Oh no, I don't like having to do that. I'm switching. Okay, I switched to holding the palette with my right hand because wow, what a big deal. So pretty. I hope these don't hard pan. And then I'm gonna take the more kind of, I know it's not cool toned, but I really want to try this corally one. I'm gonna use this very sheer, like a just twinkling on the middle of my eyelid. This one does feel pretty firmly pressed into the pan, but since I'm applying a sheer layer, I'm not really super fussed by it. I definitely really want to do more videos with older palettes, so if this does hard pan the next time I use it, you will definitely hear about it. I just wanted to add some just like minor sparkle. Nothing terribly dramatic. And then I'm going to take that same shade on the lower lash line. Oh, I don't like using this brush on my lower lash line. It so scratchy. I never did end up washing my brushes before going to Atlanta, so we're just gonna suffer. And then I'll take that brighter shade and just put it right on the inner part. So I know I only used 2 shades in this palette, so I'm not passing judgment on this palette yet, we'll see. But I do love a good sparkly topper-esque shadow, and I do really like how it just kind of added a little bit of twinkle to this eye look. So I initially thought I was going to do a really dramatic eye look today, which is why I didn't mind the brows, but now it definitely feels like the brows are a little bit too much for this look, but that's okay. Late night things, I didn't really plan this, I just wanted to use some makeup I hadn't gotten around to using yet. I don't do these very often because I usually don't actually have enough new makeup to constitute a full face because I try not to, you know, destroy my bank account. Here we are. So I'm just going to do some mascara off camera and then I'll be back to finish off the face with more new stuff. So initially I was thinking I was going to do false lashes because I was going to do some dramatic eye look, but I'm just going to do mascara because my eye look was not that dramatic. Now my lash lift is beginning to fade, so as a result, even with mascara, my lashes are kind of starting to look a lot less impressive and a little bit more thin because my lash lifted lashes are falling out and in its place are growing in straight ones. And when I use a non-waterproof mascara, the straight ones are going to droop and then the lash lifted ones will stay lifted, which makes my lashes look a little bit messy. So the mascara looks boring. That's how it be. So I think a little bit of eyeliner will definitely help with the situation. So I'm just going to use my Flow Flushy liner. You can't get this anymore. Mine's is still going strong and it's been a while, so we just keep going with it. And I'm just going to use this to draw a wing at the end of my eyes only. It is kind of a warm brown, so it's not quite the right shade for this look, but it'll do. And then I'm just going to do that on the inner corner. The next thing I want to use is I ended up having to buy the Prisme Libre loose blushes from Harrods because all the shades I wanted sold out and Feel Unique, and Feel Unique lost my package. So by the time I realized it was lost, I couldn't reorder the shade I wanted. I commented on Lexi Jong's video about how Feel Unique lost my package. She did mention how it's not limited edition over there, it just doesn't happen to exist in the USA, so my thinking that it was limited edition may not be correct. So I'll just sit around. If it gets restocked, I will get the shade 01 like I wanted. If it doesn't get restocked though, I mean, what am I supposed to do, right? So this is the loose blush here in question. I have definitely said before I do really enjoy a good loose blush, so I'm interested in trying this. I was hoping to get shade 01, but that's the shade that sold out. So this is the shade 02, the Taffetas Rose, and then I also have 3, which is the more orange coral one. 01 is kind of the more cool pastel pink that is super trendy right now. And I don't know, that's the shade that I really wanted the most. Maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. I'm not really banking on it, but if it's permanent in Europe, then it should come back. I'm going to take a very diffused brush, and I'm going to kind of swirl my brush in it as best I can. See what we come up with. I have heard really good things about this. I have seen other people use it, and they've really enjoyed it. It's like, it's not true matte, but at the same time, it's just got a really soft finish on the skin. And this is going to be very different from the JACLYN ones that I love so much because this is far more matte. The JACLYN ones have a very distinctive glow, so for me I didn't feel like I was overlapping my collection too much, which is why I got them. And I've been wanting them ever since they were released. I thought maybe they'd come to the US sometime, but they never did, which is always kind of frustrating when you're dealing with region exclusive makeup. Ooh, this was really easy to apply and it's really pretty. I don't really see how you can like use each shade individually for sure. Like, it's definitely you just end up mixing them all. So the 4-compartment thing to me is just kind of more gimmicky than anything else. Now, of course, these were very expensive. On Harrods, they're $47 a piece, and Harrods also charged me $30 shipping. So Feel Unique, on the other hand, the 3 shades that I was gonna get were on sale and the shipping was free. So I basically paid the same amount to Feel Unique that I paid to Harrods for 1 less shade, so oh well. But I mean, Feel Unique refunded me and then I just used that money to buy from Harrods, so it's not like I spent any money. It was just a bummer the way it all worked out. It does come with a little puff, but I mean, I don't personally ever see myself using it except to just keep the product from exploding. I am very happy with it so far. Hopefully it wears well. I'm not going to get a chance to test that today, but hopefully it does, and whenever I wear it next. I usually don't have an issue with blush fading on me. I know some people do, but usually for me blush doesn't really fade. So I will say at this point in time my nose has gotten kind of sweaty looking, so maybe I didn't put on enough powder. It is so firmly pressed that it does feel like it's hard to get product off, but I feel like my nose kind of got a little... This might be more of like a winter powder for me. Or maybe just at least don't use it on my nose kind of a situation. Okay, so I'm sorry that this video is so long for what is essentially like a nothing burger makeup look, but what can I say? So I am going to quickly I want to show you guys the highlighter from the Flower Nose Chocolate Shop that's inside the contour palette. There is a very tiny highlighter, and it is very reminiscent of their Angel highlighters, but now you have it in this palette. So it is softer. It is like, you can't really build it up to be as metallic and shiny as the Angel highlighters, but it has the similar quality of that translucent base with a very flattering but at the same time sparkly finish that doesn't emphasize texture, that just looks so glassy and so almost like dewdrop water kind of thing. Definitely something that's very common with Asian and particularly Chinese highlighters right now is to have this kind of watery look to them, so that your skin is smooth as if looking through a clear pond. So it's really great that this is in this palette. Pan is kind of small, but I mean realistically speaking, how much highlighter do you go through? So I love this highlighter. I can use it on my nose as well without any cast. So I am so in love with this Chocolate Shop palette right now. Really just gorgeous packaging. I just wish it was bigger. Like I wish it was bigger so that this pan could be bigger, and maybe this pan even could be bigger, and I wish everything in this palette was bigger. Like I wish it was like 20% bigger. So that's gonna be pretty much everything. So at this point all that's left is the lips. So as I said before, I got the Roman Glasting Balms. One of the shades I wanted had already sold out, and then the other shades I didn't want, so I just got 4. I didn't get all of them. Some of them were a little too nudie, light colored for my likings. No new lip liners. I'm just using the same old. I'm gonna use the JACLYN lip liner in Faith. So this is like a very light, cool pink lip liner, which I like to use before using pinker lip products. Let's see. And I do have some dead skin on my lips that need to be exfoliated tonight, so just ignore that if you see it. So instead of rubbing, I have found that if you don't want to like screw up the applicator and mush it all over the place, you just kind of do like rubbing taps, like you tap and rub, and you just layer it up that way. It's more substantial than the fresh lip balms, but it's not a full-on gloss in a stick situation. Like it's not like the Tarte ones, which I have tested in store before, but it is more substantial than the Benefit California Kissing. It's more substantial than the Pat McGrath. It's even a little bit more substantial than the YSL balms. It's kind of similar-ish to the Candy sticks. I'll go over this more in detail as I test these out, and I'll do a full video about this, but first impression feels really nice on my lips. It doesn't have any cooling or plumping in it whatsoever, which is really great if you're sensitive to that. And I feel like I can still kind of smell the lychee a little bit, but it's not super strong. It just smells just like lychee. Oh, I love how it smells. It makes me miss lychee so much. I think I'm gonna call this the finished look. I'll zoom the camera out. Yeah, so this is gonna be my finished look using mostly Korean beauty, so I guess that'll end up in the video title. So pretty much everything I used in this besides like the foundation and the lip liner were new to me in some way, shape, or form, so I definitely really enjoyed that. There is something to be said about the fun of playing with new makeup, like ooh shiny, like because I'm a total magpie, so occasionally having a full face of new makeup to try makes me very happy, but I try not to do it too often because I can't afford that every single video, but it just, everything kind of came together that it just worked out that way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments on any of the products I use, do feel free to let me know. And yeah, I will have videos on the Flower Nose Chocolate Shop and the Roman Balms coming, like dedicated videos for sure in the near-ish future. Everything else on my face, the eyeshadow palette and whatnot, may be like further down the road, you know? But I'm probably not cute enough for an Instagram photo. I'm probably not going to take an Instagram photo, but thumbnail picture. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this quickie little video. I need to go to bed because I have to wake up very early tomorrow and I have a long drive ahead of me. So, and with that being said, I'm gonna sign off here. Goodbye.